Hello everyone and welcome to the Grove. My name is Hawk and today I wanted to talk about my LGBTQ identity because it is Pride Month. Happy Pride Month to everybody. Happy Pride Month to everyone watching this video. I hope you're doing alright, especially with the state of the world these days. So for me, the specific ones I wanted to touch on were my bisexual identity, my demiromantic identity, but most of it will probably be about my genderqueer identity, because that's the one that I've been exploring most often lately. My bisexual identity was the one that I figured out first back in high school. Well, I started figuring it out in high school, but I didn't really come to accept it until I was in college, because I didn't really know about LGBTQ topics, so that was part of it, where it's I fully just did not know how things worked. So it's hard to really understand yourself if you don't have the proper terminology to understand what's going on. That's why labels, some people, such as myself, find labels important. It's because it's a way to sort of concretely understand one's identity. And for me, that's why I use words such as bisexual or demiromantic or genderqueer, because they describe an identity which I feel is accurate to myself. So, and I figure if I have that identity, I might as well use the word, because then it communicates to others who I am. And it's been really nice to have a deeper understanding of myself through this journey. So, yeah. So, yeah, so and the way it started was that I realized I had a crush on who I would say was my best friend at the time, and she be girl. So, it was kind of this situation where I had a lot of self-reflection to do, but wasn't quite in the environment where that was a thing which I could fully pursue, or just explore. Didn't really have a supportive environment, so just kind of shut that self off, and especially since I have had those sisters, there is a thing of, oh, maybe I just don't know what it means to have like a strong connection with a fellow girl. Because at the time I thought I was a girl. So, but once I got into college and was away from like my parents and the environment which I was raised in, it was a lot easier to like fully explore and do self-reflect, where it's like, no, this is accurate to how I perceive myself. So, yeah. So, because I do know that I do have sexual attraction, which is really interesting, because it's also interesting to look back for me, because because for me, when I was growing up, it's just like, oh yeah, girls are into guys, because, and for me, I'm like, oh yeah, that checks out. And then things that were to be like, oh yeah, this is when a girl is sexy or whatever, and of course I was like, I can see what they mean. So I just thought it was normal. Even though it's like, just a lot more to the story than originally thought, so. But it's funny to look back where it's just like, it didn't fully click. So, and then you combine it with my demiromantic energy. I was about to say energy, but that's not the correct word. The fact I'm demiromantic, and it's just like, yeah, it can be hard to figure out. Because the thing is, I see I feel the sexual attraction, but then I didn't think I was into girl or guys at all. Uh, the reason I started pursuing my relationship with who is currently my boyfriend is because he asked me out first. Up until then, I had no romantic interaction with people. I just, looking back, and I even had the thought of just like, I guess if a boy like asks me out, then I will evaluate. But I didn't. But I looked around, wasn't interested in anybody, and I thought that was normal. Like, it's just something that happened to you, which is sort of true, I guess. But I didn't fully understand how it related to me. I just didn't question the fact that I didn't feel the compulsion, like, oh, lovey-dovey. Because for me, my only experience was like, oh yeah, I want to be friends with this person. And that's it. There wasn't, oh, I want to, like, date people. It was very, very weird experience. Yeah, where I questioned myself and like, am I really romantically interested in this person? And so when I have this strong emotional connection with the person who I like really loved interacting with, I was really confused because I'm just like, this is different than boyfriend in like attraction. How they're supposed to match, right? Shouldn't they match? But they're not. Because, like, I realized I was in love with one of my friends, like, when I was already dating somebody else, and, oh boy, that did not help the fact of the situation. But, moving on. So, yeah, it is just, like, a lot of questioning and trying to figure out, like, okay, how does this work? Because for me, it wasn't all just like, okay, I need to figure out how it works with myself. I was also trying to learn about, like, LGBTQ identities in general. And so I'm trying to do it simultaneously, and it's a very weird thing to try and do simultaneously. And I'm getting better, like a better battery for my mouse because they're annoying me. I say they're because I switched out the battery once already. I'm gonna try it again. So my love life has been weird. Until like that sort of me figuring out that part of my identity occurred, like started first year of high school, and then started like sort of accepted it. I was accepting it by the time I exited college, so about 7 years. Yeah, and then when so I looked at that part of my identity first because it was just also more relevant to me at the time because someone was interested in me, and then there's the factor of how to function. Factor of just it's a lot. It was the one that I learned about. Like being gay was the one that I learned about first, and so that sort of part just sort of existed for me first, where I was learning about it. But because I was learning about one topic, the learning about what it would mean to be transgender, that also happened. And now I was beginning to have language to explain an experience, which I could potentially have, like, be part of my existence. What I would be experiencing. And I was. I just out of curiosity, and because I liked non-binary characters in fiction, at the time I didn't fully realize why, I wanted to roleplay a character who didn't just use she/her. I wanted to do one that felt like used both because it was early on, and I realized I really liked it when people used they/them pronouns for me, and so I started to like fade from just using she/her to using fully they/them, and that shift happened. I want to say a little over like a year and two, maybe 2 years now. So from she/they to they/them online, and it has been amazing. I truly feel like I'm representing myself as myself and not as somebody else. Because before, it felt like I was wearing a mask that like something was hidden and I didn't know why or what it was. And then when I started using they/them, it felt like it fit. It felt like, oh, I'm in the correct space, but again, didn't fully connect the dots. So I just wanted to then, but upon like reflection of realizing, what, like, why I enjoyed, why did I, and then that led me to asking myself the question of why did I why did I enjoy when others called me they/them? Shouldn't I like more than she/her? And I realized while sitting on the toilet at home, oh, wait, there's probably something here then. I'm probably more, my identity is a lot more interesting than I initially anticipated. Not that I really anticipated anything in particular, but it definitely is more complex. So, yeah. And then from there, it's been me introducing myself as Hawkley, like they/them, and it's been great. Obviously, people don't, because I have a feminine voice, and I either I forget because I'm not used to fully introducing myself as with they/them pronouns yet. I've gotten a lot better. People just assume that they/them pronoun, she/her pronouns, but everyone's really been a good sport about it, and they do their best. And what's nice is that I'm starting to transition socially to using they/them pronouns in real life. I actually just came out to my manager, my supervisor, in this past week because once a month we have like a touch base, a one-on-one, to just talk about work and stuff. And I mentioned in the meeting, it's like, hey, I'm a binary and I would like to start using they/them pronouns in the workplace. And she was very supportive. I like my manager. There's a reason why I'll probably still have my day job for a long time. It's because I work at a really good place. And it felt really good. Where, and I afterward, I teared, like, my eyes were wet. I teared up a little bit. and I was just really happy that, oh, yay, I'm slowly transitioning, uh, and I can be myself in a space that's not just online. Yeah. And I have told my family that I I'm non-binary. I haven't really fully, and I will be like hopefully transitioning to they them pronouns in more spaces in my life and gender neutral language. It the world is scary, but I just it I spent a lot of my life believing that I couldn't take the mask off, and using they them pronouns, it does feel like I'm taking the mask off, where I'm presenting as myself and not just some sort of weird copy or weird not necessarily copy. Copy is probably not the best word, but like I'm wearing a mask where I'm not presenting myself as myself. I always knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know how to like explain it because I didn't have the words. And it's not it's like there was this disconnect where there was something I had to hide, but didn't know why, and I wasn't knew that I had something to do with not presenting myself as myself. And when I use they them pronouns, when someone uses they them pronouns, it's like they're actually seeing me and not something that I was like taught to present as. Because when I experience social dysphoria or use like not present myself as the gender I identify as, it feels like I'm at a party where everyone is in different attire than I am. So say it's like a pool party, then I am in full gown or I'm in a tuxedo, where I'm not matching with other people. Um, Even though I really want to be. And or say it's the reverse, where everyone else is in full glamour and formal wear, and I am not. So it's just one of those things where I'm. Then you have an instance when I use they them pronouns. It feels like I'm actually wearing the appropriate thing. So if it's the pool party instance, I'm wearing a swimsuit, and if it's not a pool party, then I'm wearing whatever the attire is, full glamour, sportswear, PJs. I don't know. PJs is a good one. Feeling like I'm wearing PJs, but in front of somebody else, that is sort of the comfortability feeling that I get when I am using they them pronouns, because I feel comfy, I feel safe, it feels correct. Like it's aligned somehow. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Yeah. So hasn't exactly been a straight line. Probably because I'm not straight. But it's been a fulfilling journey to just know what I am, have answers for why I was feeling a certain way when I was younger, and just understanding myself better. So it goes back to talking about how labels are important to some people, and one of those being me. Because it's having an end to the mystery, and that, like, having that solidified is really helpful. So, where you don't have to worry about what necessarily you have an understanding of why certain things felt the way they did, and it feels normal. Yeah. So, yeah. Why? 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 Come on. Bruh. Why did people just put my color? Why is my why is my tailor shop in quarantine? Okay, well, I'm gonna figure out why my tailor shop is in jail. But I guess this is where we'll end the episode because I'm not sure what exactly is going on here. I hope you have a good day, night, whatever time it is for you, and for those relevant, happy Pride Month. Hope to see you next time, and goodbye!